everyone, and welcome to my first video of my March pickups. Obviously it's about halfway through the month right now, and I've got quite a stack of things to get through. A good mix of a lot of different things, so hopefully there's at least one thing you guys find interesting. And yeah, so I will just get started, and yeah, I'll start with this. First off, I have a music CD that I got from Amazon Japan, and that is Fly High by Burnout Syndromes. Now this is the new opening for Haikyuu. You can see it's very thick, but it's not actually that thick of a case or anything. It's actually got an extra little case for these tin buttons, whatever you want to call it. Yep, so another Haikyuu single. I really love the openings and endings of this show, so I've just been slowly collecting them, and yeah, nothing too big with that. Next is a film. It's a Ghibli film released by Madman here in Australia. The cover's a little bit messed up, but it's because I buy it from or I buy a lot of Ghibli films from this New Zealand website, and in New Zealand they put like a different rating sticker on top of the Australian rating sticker, and I usually can take them off pretty well without trouble, but this one ripped it a bit. It didn't actually affect the artwork, just the ratings logo, so I'm not too like worried about it, but it is kind of like, oh well. But I did get this quite cheaply because I got a voucher from this website for my birthday and decided to just pick something up that I do actually really like, and I had the DVD version a long time ago that I sold off, so I'm just replacing it, and that is Isao Takahara's My Neighbors the Yamadas. As you can see, it's a bit ripped up here, but not too bad. I can live with it. Inside, obviously, Blu-ray disc, and as with all Australian Ghibli films, there's the alternate Japanese artwork on the inside. So that's just another Ghibli film for the collection. I'm slowly getting them, but I'm still quite a far ways off from having the entire, set of films. Next is, there's two US Blu-ray releases here. First of all is Viz's most recent release of Death Note, the Omega edition, which comes in a very hard case, similar to Ranma and a bunch of their other Blu-ray releases. The discs themselves, it has the entire television show as well as the kind of compilation films, which do have a little bit of new animation if that's something you're interested in, and they kind of retell some things a little bit differently, and the first chapter or the pilot chapter of the manga from before the series was actually published. This is kind of really interesting because I don't know if I've mentioned this, I probably have, so people who've watched my videos before will know that Death Note was my very, very, very first anime that I ever watched. I don't necessarily think this is a huge video upgrade, but audio does seem a lot better than both the Region 1 and Region 2 discs that I have of Death Note. Don't ask me why I had so many copies of Death Note. I just do. I don't anymore because I have replaced them with this. But yeah, it is, I think, if you're a fan, this is definitely something you might be interested in, just because it does look a little bit better than, especially the UK DVDs, but even the Viz DVDs that were put out. And I mean, Death Note's kind of a classic at this point. I would be surprised if people hadn't seen it, because it is, you know, before Attack on Titan, it was the show that got older people into anime and manga. At least in my case, that's what it did. And I think Viz did actually a really good job with this. I know people were worried about the transfer because it was done by Subatomic, who also did Sailor Moon. But I do think it is more of a like materials thing than just Subatomic being awful. Although they're not great, but it's nowhere near that quality of transfer or video. The colors are all very good. It is dark when it's supposed to be dark. I only rewatched the first 2 episodes in the Japanese. I have watched parts of the English dub, and it is a good dub, but I'm very partial to the Japanese because that's how I watched it the first time around, and I just if you know me, then you know I'm a huge fan of Mamoru Miyano, the voice Seiyu who plays Light in this show, and it's just, this was the role that really like set my life on the path that it's gone. That sounds really like inspirational or something. It's not, but I'm like a huge fan of his, so whenever I have the option I try to listen to his performances, even though there are a lot of dubs that I do really like, and I think Death Note for the most part is a very good dub. There's a couple things where I giggle at, I'm like, oh, that's so hilarious, that sounds so stupid, but overall it is a great series, whether or not you watch it in Japanese or English. It doesn't matter. And kind of related, not really, another Mamoru show that just recently came out, another Blu-ray DVD set, that one was Blu-ray only, this one is Blu-ray DVDs, is the Funimation release of Free Eternal Summer. Yeah, so I'm a huge fan of this series. This season in particular, I think it's probably the perfect sequel, because it doesn't just rehash the first season. It actually grows from the point that the first season ended. I know there's a lot of controversy with the dub on this one, just with a lot of script changes and therefore like personality changes with the show. I haven't really watched any of the dub. I honestly can't. I'm way too attached to the Japanese voices, and even if it was a perfect dub, I probably wouldn't watch it. So for me, I don't really have any problems with it, because I personally will never use it. But I do feel sad that something so well received and popular didn't necessarily get the best treatment. But anyway, great show. It's not just a fan service show for girls. It does actually have a really, it handles its messages really well. I love the fact that it does kind of address what people go through at the end of their high school career, which is, what are we going to do after school? Am I going to go study, or you know, will I do this? It's really difficult, and I think most people can really relate to it, as well as having something that you really enjoy just become a hassle and like not enjoyable anymore. Which was a big element in the first season, but even more so in the second season. It's revisited in a different way and told in a different way. And I find the second season a lot better than the first season, and that's saying something because I do really enjoy the first season as well. But anyway, so here's the box. On the front we have the Iwatobi boys, on the back is Samazuka, understandably, and inside we have the Blu-ray with Haru and Makoto, and then Rin and Sosuke, and then discs inside with Rei and Nagisa. Other case, Rin and Haru, Nagisa and Rei, and then Haru and Makoto inside. So this is the DVD set, this is the Blu-ray set, and I think they actually did a pretty nice job with this. They tried to imitate the Japanese releases. I don't know if you can really tell, but there's like a water... It's a matte box, but it's got like this glossy water effect on it. You can see kind of there, and it says "For the Future" up the top. So yeah, it's kind of very reminiscent of the Japanese singles of the show, which I also own. But yeah, it's a nice looking release overall, and I'm hoping that somewhere along the line we get a Blu-ray release of the first season, because the show really does deserve a Blu-ray release. It's Kyoto Animation, and whether or not you're a fan of the show, I think everyone can agree that KyoAni stuff, you know, deserves the best video quality wise, just because it is so incredibly well animated, all of their shows. But anyway, that's the end of the anime. I have a whole stack of manga, but hopefully it won't go too long, because there's only actually a couple of things here, series-wise. First off is the one-ish BL title I have, which is Wolf Magic by Natsuki Zippo, published by June. As you can see, I just got this yesterday. I read it last night. It was pretty good. It was pretty good. Collection of, like, there's really only 2 or 3 stories in here, but broken up into about 6 chapters. And yeah, so it's pretty good. It's only 16 plus, so not explicit or anything like that, or not really that explicit at all. So again, if you're not into the extreme, like the worst of the worst in BL or yaoi, then that sort of thing I think is probably a bit more to your tastes. Next is a Yen Press manga. It's the 2nd volume of Monthly Girls Nozaki-kun. I love this series. I find it so funny. Obviously got started with the anime, and I think the 4-koma manga is just really great. I wouldn't necessarily find it as funny as I do without having previously known the anime, but I do think it's a very good comedy series, and something that a lot of people would enjoy. And yeah, it's very skinny, but I'm not expecting like a huge thick volume for 4-koma manga. That's just not how it works. Next is 8 volumes from the same series. I bought this secondhand, again from Gumtree, so, you know, that's something. And I'm gonna start, it's something that a couple of people have told me over and 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 over again to get. So I've started to collect it. I don't know how quickly or like how often I'll be getting volumes for it, but at least I've started. So that is Berserk by Kentaro Miura. Yeah. So this obviously is a huge favorite for a lot of seinen fans. I haven't read any of it yet. I've seen a couple episodes of the original television show, and I've been planning to see the films and obviously finish that season, but I've just never gotten around to it. Like, it's not necessarily the highest of my priorities, so I've just kind of put it off and put it off and put it off. Similar situation to Tagashi in that Miura is always on hiatus, so this series comes out very slowly. But hopefully I'll be able to catch up in time. It's actually not a bad thing for me. I feel like most people are just worried that it'll be unfinished forever. But, you know, I think people need to just suck it up. It's not, you know, no matter your personal feelings on it, it's not going to change either way. So, yeah, either roll with the punches or just, I don't know, whatever. Volume 7 and Volume 8. I know the kind of overall story to Berserk. It's been around forever, and I think you'd have to be living under a rock to kind of not know what Berserk is all about. But, yeah, I've never actually really tried the manga or anything. So it'll be something interesting and different for me to get to now that I have it. And finally is something I was actually waiting for in the post for a long time. And that is Fumi Yoshinaga's Garden Dreams. This is a one-shot collection. It's obviously, as you can see, published by Digital Manga Publishing, and it's quite old. I think this was first published in 2006, something like that. 2007. But it's a fantastic little volume. I think the story's great. It follows kind of two characters, a traveling musician esque kind of young guy and a baron he meets along the way, and just kind of how their lives intermingle. It's not BL like at all. Well, not really. Little bit. Not really. But it is really, really, really good. I find it very much a Yoshinaga series, and I read the whole thing in one sitting. I mean, that's not that unusual, but it's just really great. And you can find this quite cheap pretty much everywhere because it is an older volume, and Yoshinaga stuff isn't necessarily the most popular things, which means, lucky for me, I can have all of her work and not have to worry about it going so out of print so quickly. Typical artwork, typical storytelling of Yoshinaga. But yeah, it's really, really good. Like, here's something that's not too spoilery or anything. I just really like her style, how she draws people and backgrounds and everything else, as well as her storytelling. I know I'm a big fangirl, but I just really do like her work. So that's another thing to check off of my backlog of Yoshinaga work. Now I think it's pretty much just BL stuff I need. I feel like I've gotten almost everything, not aside from some for BL stuff, but I need to kind of recheck and re-go over what I have. And in the next volume of Oku and What Did You Eat Yesterday, and then I think I'll be caught up, which is amazing. I never thought that would happen. But yeah, so that's actually everything I have so far for March. It's been kind of a steady amount of things. I'll just, again, stack things up so you can kind of see. Ugh, don't slip. These two. And then anime here. And this. So yeah, a couple couple things. I think it's a good mix of different kind of interests and genres, and I know certain people might like certain things and other people might like other things. But yeah, so thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully there'll be another video this time or this weekend sometime. Not necessarily sure what that video is going to be. Probably another art book overview. I've got a couple in mind that I want to do. And, of course, the second half of my March pickups at the end of the month. So, I'll see you in the next video, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.